Is acupuncture painful for dogs?
Generally, they tolerate it extremely well. Most of the time when I'm putting in acupuncture needles, the patient does not have any reaction at all. They usually are going to just sit there with very calm expressions on their face while the needles are putting in. Because these needles are being put over areas where nerves are located though, sometimes you can get a little bit of a zing response from it, and they might startle or look at the place where the needle was put in. In Chinese medicine though, this is not considered a bad thing. It's called a Dai Qi response, and it is considered evidence that you have put the needle in the correct place and that the energy is starting to move. So in fact, it is considered a good response when patients show some reaction. But even then, it's usually not very dramatic. They usually do quite well with it.
Who is qualified to perform veterinary acupuncture?
So veterinary acupuncture should always be performed by a veterinarian who has been through a training program to know how to utilize it appropriately and effectively. Because just putting needles in any random spot is not going to work. You're going to need to know where those acupuncture points are, and you're going to need to know how to use them in combination to actually treat the illness for the patient.
What can I expect for my dog during an acupuncture session?
So for a typical dry needle acupuncture session, your veterinarian is going to come and speak with you about how your pet is doing, get a little history about what's been going on, and then potentially look over the pet and look for very specific things in Chinese medicine, different than what we're going to look for in Western medicine. So we might look at your dog's tongue color, check their pulses, feel for areas of heat, and then we're going to address those with a specific acupuncture plan on that day. The needles put in can be as few as one, and actually there's almost no real limit to how many you can put in, but technically you're going to kind of be on the lower mid end depending on your patient. I typically use about 15 needles. It only takes me a minute or two to put them in, and then I'm generally going to leave them in for 5 to 10 minutes, also based on the tolerance of the patient. Some dogs fall asleep and they're really comfortable. We let the needle sit longer. Some patients, they start to kind of wake up after a while and they look ready to have their needles out. So about 10 minutes, sometimes we're going ahead and removing them.
Are there any home care or follow-up instructions after acupuncture session?
Much of the time, the pets are quite relaxed when they're finished with their acupuncture. Part of what acupuncture does is releases so many different neurotransmitters that are very calming, pain relieving for the patient, and so sometimes they're just going to want to go home and take a nap. But you can really go based on what your pet wants to do. If they are up and feeling great and ready to go for walks or have a meal, there's no reason that they cannot do those things.
Okay, thank you so much for this interview. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.